Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. How-to books and even little talks like this may not sufficiently engender behavior change. My clients generally find that the more concise the advice, the more likely they are to follow it. Well, the ultimate in brevity, of course, is the word or phrase. Here are 10 words and phrases that you might want to more often use in 2021. Of course, there's no need to wait till the new year. Feel free to start now. The first one is good point, and similar phrases like nice job, I'm impressed, and so on. There's a tendency to withhold praise. It can appear judgmental. If you praise X, you might next criticize Y. You're not the accepting person that many people crave. Or you fear that the praise will encourage entitlement. They might think, oh good, now I can ask for a raise. Or for you, meaning the romantic partner or friend, to do something for me. Or you might withhold praise because by praising, you may appear to acknowledge that you're inferior and you prefer to keep your insecurity private. Yes, consider the downsides of giving praise, but on average, it's wise to err toward more good point and nice job. Not only will it make the person feel good and in turn like you more, praising a behavior makes the person more likely to repeat that good behavior. The next phrase you might want to use more in 2021 is risk-reward. Well, an example of assessing risk-reward that's on all of our minds now is the COVID vaccine, whether to take it. Here's how one might assess the risk-reward of taking the vaccine as soon as it's available. For most people, that's likely to be somewhere between February and June. First, assess how much exposure do you have to the virus. For example, people with limited indoor exposure to people that are outside your household are at lower risk. How concerned are you about some serious new side effects appearing as more time passes and more people have taken the vaccine? Many experts consider that risk low, but you might consider the Moderna report to the FDA published just today. The part that discusses that is on page 48, so you can just Google Moderna report to FDA December 17th, 2020. How concerned are you? Today's the 16th, but it's dated the 17th. How concerned are you that the vaccine may confer immunity only for a few months? Most expert opinions range from a few months to 2 years. How concerned are you that the vaccine will not just protect you, but keep you from spreading it to others? That's yet unclear. How concerned are you of being among the people who, per that report to the FDA, experience one or more significant side effects? I'm now just quoting from that report. Injections cite pain 91.6%, fatigue 68.5%, headache 63%, muscle pain 59.6%, joint pain 44.8%, and chills 43.4%. The next phrase that's, I think, worth considering using more now and as part of your New Year's resolution, opportunity cost. Most of our actions come at a cost. For example, what we could do with the time if we didn't spend it. For example, watching me do this. That's called the opportunity cost. Of course, none of us use every minute optimally, but opportunity cost is a useful tool when you're deciding what to do, especially deciding among alternative choices. The next word I'd like you to consider using moving forward is wise. The word clever or even smart only goes so far. A wise decision considers not just what's right for now, but in the long run, and not just for you, but for your sphere of influence, even the planet. One of my favorite phrases is a loftier version of wise, cosmic justice. What is the right decision not just net for humankind, that's another word that encourages wise thinking, humankind, but in terms of universal goods and evils. For example, a clinician in a small town might be clever to plant a false rumor about his or her only competitor. A smart clinician might write an article for a local publication that highlights his or her best attribute compared with the competitor without mentioning the competitor by name. A wise clinician might realize that the greater good might be served if the two of them agreed to market jointly, highlighting the sorts of clients that each one of them tends to help more. The next word that is worthy of additional use is merit. It's a messy word. It's so hard to ascertain merit. Merit goes beyond what can be quantified. It's the overall net benefit versus liability of an idea, product, service, or person. And that often requires subjective qualitative assessment. Too often people avoid all that messiness by relying too much on the quantitative, to the black and white. For example, Pat graduated from Harvard, Lee graduated from No Name State, and Alex didn't go to college at all, so I'll just interview Pat. well, that can result in suboptimal selection. The next phrase worthy of your consideration is low-risk action. Many of my clients ruminate too long. They'd be wiser to take a low-risk action. For example, a client of mine has for 2 years now ruminated on whether to apply to clinical psychology graduate school, feeling he has to solidify his core beliefs and career goals before deciding whether to apply. It's usually better to apply and, upon entering, use his existing beliefs and potential career goals as a starting place while remaining open to changing based on the experiences and people he meets. It's a bit like the sailor who wants to go from San Francisco to Hawaii. He or she will end up in Hawaii sooner if he or she stops the land-based planning at a point of diminishing returns, sets sail, and then adapts the course, the position of the sails, and the speed depending on the weather that he or she encounters. The next phrase I like is shoestring competitor. This is a version of the low-risk action. Often enacting the full-blown version of an idea is expensive and time-consuming. It's often wise to at least consider the shoestring competitor. For example, returning to the graduate school idea, getting a PhD, say, in neuroscience is expensive, time-consuming. Shoestring competitors include job shadowing, on-the-job training, a certificate or master's program, or independent study. And if those prove to be a cost-effective way to achieve the goal, great. And if not, the PhD program is not going away. Redistribution. Policymakers and the media don't like to use that unvarnished term, but every time we raise taxes to pay for programs for the poor, every time we make a service available to everyone without regard to pay, for example, Medicare for all, it's redistributing from society's haves to have-nots, independent of merit. In developing your own policy beliefs and voting decisions, it's wise to view such issues not sugar-coated but unvarnished, and redistribution is the unvarnished term. The next word that I'd like to encourage you to use is iterate. The first plan that my clients and I develop often is suboptimal, so I routinely ask, so what do you like and not like about the plan? The answer results in our creating version 2, and we repeat until the client says the plan rates at least a 9 on a 10 scale. That process is called iteration, incremental improvements. It applies obviously in writing. It's widely agreed that it's wise to get a draft done, then reread making obvious improvements, reread again, which, with the earlier problems fixed, makes other problems more visible. And finally, the word responsibility. Rather than the pursuit of happiness, consider making responsibility primary, responsibility to your family, employer, and society. A related term is contributory. It's worth thinking about whether you're sufficiently contributory. Alas, thinking about it is far from achieving it. That requires another word that's worthy of wider use, in my view, even though since the letter-rip 60s, it's become out of fashion, and that word is discipline. Anyway, tomorrow I plan to suggest words you might want to use less often. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like you if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.